uh,
We're live. Continue. Tell us about it.
I got that red dot for $99 at the door because apparently Vortex discontinued making them now. They only make the Defenders now, and the
Yeah.
Defender is not compatible with that sight that I have there. So they had one left sitting on the shelf, and the guy said $99 at the door. I said sold. And then I bought a bunch
Winner,
of
winner,
slugs
chicken
for
dinner.
these. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, man.
Does my audio sound good to you, or do I sound muffled?
You sound about the same always. You sound pretty good.
Thank you. I worry about it sometimes because I feel like, especially on muffins, when it starts getting to be 3 or 4 people deep, if I don't holler and enunciate, I worry that people can't hear me.
Gotcha.
I don't have a lot of time on on a low power variable optic. Like in practicality. So I'm try to not speak from a position of um, authority on that.
Gotcha. I personally like the LPVOs. I have stigmatism in my eyes, so the red dots aren't necessarily the best for me. On a podcast. So they work pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna get out the door and start stepping off again. See if I can't get like 5 miles today.
Nice.
And we'll just talk about whatever. It doesn't have to be our usual stuff.
Yeah, I'm currently studying for a test tomorrow for my apprenticeship school.
The electrician game.
Yeah, it's a drag, but you got to do what you got to do to make the money, right?
That's right. But my late grandfather was an electrician for, I don't know, 50 years probably.
It's a good gig.
A couple of years ago, my grandmother decided to sell her house and move into like an assisted living place because she was kind of becoming a fall risk. Her mind's still sharp, but her body's giving out.
Yeah.
And so she decided, just have everybody come over and pick out what they wanted and do it all now, before it's a fight after she's gone. And I didn't want a whole lot. I didn't want a whole lot when she had everybody come over and go through his stuff. After he passed, I didn't want all of that.
Yeah, I totally
But,
agree.
but when she needed to get rid of everything in the house so she could list it and show it, I went over and humored her. Went over and dug through some stuff and came across he had kept all of his electrician's license cards for, I don't know, the last 25, 30 years that he did it.
That's pretty cool.
I found those. So I took them just a proof of his contribution.
Yeah, it's a good trade if you want to get into a trade. It pays pretty well.
He only
Stay.
had probably a fourth or fifth grade education. Yeah, and he did it.
Yeah, you learn as you go, basically.
I think he
Educate.
mostly did residential.
I got you. Yeah, I'm doing nothing but industrial and commercial now.
I bet that's where the real money's at.
Yeah, and come September, I'll become a fifth year, and I get a $12 an hour raise, which would bring me up to 46 an hour. And then June after that, I get another raise when I top out a journeyman to be taking home $62 an hour.
But how much per hour are you paying in like union dues and stuff?
Oh, so the that's my take home. My actual pay an hour will be when I graduate out and become a journeyman is going to be like about $120 an hour is what I actually make. But my take home will be $62 an hour. That's what I will see in my paycheck.
It's pretty good money.
It would definitely be pretty good money if it wasn't for Jersey.
Yeah, I'm sure the cost of living is substantially higher there than even the national average.
You make if you're making less than $85,000 a year, you're considered poverty. Not as bad as California, where California you need to make over what 150,000 not to be poverty level.
I'd believe it. I don't know that for a fact, but I'll trust your numbers.
Things are very expensive here in New Jersey. That's all I got to tell you. It's hard. It's hard starting over doing this apprenticeship program when I was making a ton of money before.
I can tell you with great confidence that gun store employees don't make a ton of money.
Yeah, you make a decent living though, and you get to play with all the good toys.
Yeah, I mean, there's give and take to it. It's admittedly not terribly hard work, and you do get to make good relations with people. I mean, you get to know people of all walks of life in your community.
I'm I'm sure back when I was a kid growing up and all that, you guys made a ton of money because you were in sales. Back then, people that did sales made a boatload of money.
Yeah, that first COVID year was not awful. I mean, I got a little extra scratch, but I'm not. My pay is not commission based. I get paid by the hour. So,
Okay, I got you.
but the upside of not being commission based is I have a pretty predictable income. You know,
Paycheck.
if it were solely commission, then that would be feast or famine.
Yeah, some weeks you'll be eating ramen noodles. Other weeks you'll be eating filet mignon.
I like not being commissioned too because when people ask questions of opinion, I can just be honest with them rather than feel like a skis ball,
Yeah,
making
yeah, I got
making
you.
sure that they just buy whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
sent out several links, but I guess I'm about like Muffin Top. I don't draw too many people.
I can't even tell. Is there anybody even in the stream?
I don't think anybody's watching this. I think it's showing one viewer, but I think that's where I clicked view stream a minute ago, and it opened up YouTube. That's all right. It feeds the algorithm.
Yeah, I'm trying
Grows
to.
grows my channel content, so it looks like I try.
Slideshow Bob is in there. That's my nephew. He's here. He said howdy.
Oh, you view the comments, it won't let me view them
Yeah,
without opening as separate.
I just viewed the comments. Yeah.
I hadn't figured that part out yet. I'll try.
Usually when I hit something like that, it ends up kicking me out.
Oh, there it is. I found where it lets me read comments.
Yeah, what's your opinion on the new aim point Glocks? My nephew said because I held the Glock 43X. That was the shot show gun that my local shop had. It was kind of nice. I liked the dot that was on it.
Yeah, that aim point Koa is pretty slick. It's no wider than like the EPS carry. It's just
It's just
barely overhangs. Just barely, like the thickness of maybe two business cards on each side. What it overhangs on top of the slimline Glock slots, and then it's just a touch taller than a like EPS carry. I dig it.
it seemed nice.
I wish that Aimpoint would get with the times as far as reticle options. And they're the true original, and they do red dots as good as anybody. But time will tell as far as durability. I don't have the scratch to put down. I want to beat it up for everybody's curiosity.
Yeah, my local shop had it for under MSRP. It was going for $870.
Huh. That one that I made the short on is sitting in the counter at 845 muffins. So we'll see how quick
Yeah,
it moves. Several people touched it, but nobody's bit and said wrap it up yet.
yeah. Apparently, the MSRP is over $1,000 for the 43X with the aim point.
Yeah, they got to set that MSRP high though. I can tell you the market is reestablishing itself this past few years because sales have been lean. Stuff was going for higher markup than normal.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see those margins normalize.
I'm stuck between 40 or getting the 19 because the benefits of the 19 being able to accept the different magazines.
Yeah, I think 19 would be the way to go. I would really like it if they would do a 49, but
yeah, but they don't.
Well, right now that 49 is a Talo exclusive, and not even all of the distributors that carry Talo guns have them listed. So I think the plan probably was last year that the 49 would be a Talo exclusive, and then if it took off, it would open up. But I don't think it's taken off like they thought it would. Fiend Dog 27.
Yeah, that's my.
You got your whole family in here.
Yeah, that's my brother right there, and my nephew. It's Slideshow Bob. Shout out to them.
Yes, thank you both for joining us.
We've
some more topics in there.
We've been discussing about these Glock aim points all weekend with each other over the phone.
They're pretty trick. I think they get a few out there, they'll take off. I think they'll all have to sell well under that MSRP before people bite. But once they get a few out there, I think they'll take off.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm willing to spend the MSRP on one. That's a bit much for a Glock.
Well, and right now it's an unknown. You know, you're counting on the reputation of both brands to jump in at first. Because if you don't like it or it breaks, it's not like that fits on another object or another object fits on the slide.
Yeah, it's especially cut slide for them.
I mean, either they both work together like peanut butter and jelly, or you got to have a sandwich.
Yeah, I know at least here in Jersey, the 93 cut for a different dot was $250 cheaper, and the one with no cut was $350 cheaper.
You say the 93? You say the 93? Uh-oh, did I lose audio?
Well, at least I held the 43X, but now I like the 19, so I'm probably gonna lean towards the 19 once my shop gets it with that 8.8.
And I still want the Ruger RXM.
I've heard nothing but good reviews over that, but I've never seen it or held it.
We sold out of them yesterday, but I've got another one coming. I would have ordered several more, but I'm pumping the brakes now that they've announced the other grip colors. I expect them to spit probably a factory gun out before long in the other colors. And I don't want to get caught holding the bag on a bunch of gray ones. So I've been waiting to see.
Yeah, I'd rather have a different color than gray. Personally, I'm a big OD green fan. Myself, at least.
Yeah, the OD green or the flat dark earth, either one. I really like the Lipsy's dark earth frame Glock pistols.
Over here at the one shop that I was telling you about, the new Glock stuff. They have a bunch of Glocks in woodland camo too, and they look really nice. They look sharp.
The Berettas that they're doing. Talking about the 1301s.
I'm not too familiar with those ones.
Were you talking about the camo Berettas?
No, I was talking about the camo the Glock 19s and 17s that I saw. They all were Cerakoted in woodland camo at the local shop.
You said shop. I thought you said shotgun.
No, shop. I meant. Sorry. I don't have any Beretta shotguns or Benelli shotguns or any of that. I'm a Mossberg guy.
Same. I mean, we sell them all, and I'm happy to sell them all. But I make Mossberg money.
I even got a couple of cheapies that are flawless. People make fun of me, but I don't care if they work flawless. Or my Black Aces Tactical.
Yeah, there was already a wave of that coming on, but COVID solidified like the Turkish cheap shitty shotguns. But honestly, no more than most people that bought one are going to use it. It'll be fine.
My Black Aces Tactical S Max that I bought, which was the first gun I ever bought. I got for $350, and now it's going for like 550, $600, which seems ridiculous.
I'm kind of interested to get my hands on some of those new Mossberg Professionals, the 940 and 590s. It kind of seems like the next evolution in Mossberg shotguns that I would be interested in. Other than I've got beef with the whole industry going to Cerakote as a factory finish. I really feel like that's a big bait and switch because they do it for two reasons. One, they can make the same firearm in the raw, and then depending what color they make it, they can offer it in multiple colors. Do either distributor exclusives or just make it in different colors, period. And then now the dealer's got to stock the tan one and the green one and the burnt bronze one and the asshole brown one. And so now, rather than just having several of the black ones and feeling like you're stocked, now you've got to have it in every color.
Yeah.
So it allows them to sell more on the front end because now a dealer that wants to feel like they're stocked has it in every color. My other beef with Cerakote as a factory option is it honestly is a lesser finish, cost wise for them to apply, and how well it's applied varies from one brand to another, sometimes even from one batch to another. Where if you buy the gun and it's parked, it's a parkerized finish or it's a anodized finish or something, you kind of got an idea what you're getting, even though Mossberg's park has not always been the best. Like it can be kind of lame on the 500s and stuff sometimes. The 590s, they've got to meet that mil spec, or at least they used to. Everything's gotten cheap. Finish on everything has gotten cheap the last couple of years. Companies throwing out what they can as quick as possible. And if somebody's got an issue with it, then I guess they work to make you right on the backside.
Yeah, I got the 500 field edition that came with the 18-inch barrel and the 28-inch barrel with the wood furniture. And that thing's awesome. It's beautiful looking and deadly accurate.
Yeah, I could be completely content with an 88 if I weren't wrong-handed. I got to have that tang safety if I'm going to use the safety. I don't even keep my shotgun loaded anymore since having the little one. Like it had just gone to keeping handguns loaded and then an AR with a mag nearby. Of course, he's getting to be of age enough where he could use one too now if situation dictated. So, but my concern when he was little was the idea of being able to control him and control, a firearm if it needed to be in play. And so that's where the long guns all got unloaded and just put away. Oh, we've got some more guests wanting to join. Pat Riot's in the house.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What do we got going here? Private chat. I kicked myself out. I'm trying to add you back to stage. Let's see. Bean Dog, add stage. There we go. Yeah, it kicked you, and then you were like back for a second, and then you went away again.
I'm on my phone. I keep hitting a button, and it keeps kicking me out. My bad.
Same. What's up, Pat? We're talking about how our preferences on shotguns and whatnot. I was just explaining that once the kiddo came into the picture, all the long guns just got stowed because I wanted to be able to scoop him up with one arm and work a pistol if I needed to with the other hand. But now that he's getting to be of age and size where he could be an asset, not that I would want that on one of the lethal consequences of a child using a firearm in play, except for under the most direst of circumstances. What I'm saying is he's big enough now. I'm not going to pick him up and run out the house with him under one arm.
I am not a shotgun aficionado. That is probably the least knowledge I have of firearms overall. I had
They're
a Chinese
with
pump.
the right look. Yeah.
I had a Chinese pump I got when my dad passed. Other than that, I just have like a Turkish semi-auto. Those are the only shotguns I have really, besides a single shot. Or no, I guess I have a 20 gauge pump and a single shot break action. So yeah, but I know basically nothing about those.
We're going to continue this topic because I like where it's going. I'm going to acknowledge Slideshow Bob, his most recent comment for sure. Rattle can is the way. Like, if you verified it and it works and you're going to keep it for life, customize it, paint it, then you don't feel bad using it. It's like that first scratch on a new car. You commit to it, and now you don't care anymore, and you use it, and bump it, and bang it, and scratch it, and whatever time comes, you just re-rattle it, bang it, and scratch it, and whatever time comes, you just re-rattle it, bang it, and scratch it, and whatever time comes, you just. Whoa! I kicked myself. I'm like,
No, I did that. I tried pulling up YouTube at the same time so I could see comments.
Oh, you're good. I was just weirded out that I hurt myself 3 times, but you're good.
No, that was my fault. I was able to pause it, just not quickly.
So back to shotguns, yeah. So with the right load, the right distance, they're generally a one shot per customer, 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
They seem to be making a comeback here again here in Jersey, man. I've been noticing a uptick in supplies at a bunch of local stores or shops.
I don't know everything, but my ponderings the last couple of years have been that there's multiple trends, multiple variables that have led to the trend, I should say. I think first, a lot of people that are into pews have gotten themselves bored on ARs, so they're ready to try something different. There are lots of new uninitiated gun owners that have watched movies and have become, they got scared for one reason or another in the past couple of years and finally felt compelled to go buy a gun. Shotguns are generally less expensive. No more than they know about guns from, like, say, from watching movies, or their buddy that's a cop or whatever told them, "I'll get you a shotgun." Maybe they listened to Joe Biden in 2012.
Yeah,
and so they went and got a shotgun, and they're cheap to manufacture. You saw all those Turkish guns come into the country, Turkish and Chinese, and that put a hurt on the stagnant American market. Remington's been out of the picture the last couple of years. And so Mossberg had started getting premium prices for their stuff. They were kind of getting big for their britches. And then Beretta decided to kind of one up everybody and kind of come along with those premium tactical shotguns the last couple of years that were cheaper than the Benellis, that were kind of the upper limit. And so now you're seeing this renaissance of at or sub $1,000 tactical shotgun. And I think that's just what sparked off all this interest.
I definitely have a major interest in the Mossberg retrograde, but it's a lot of money for what it is.
Yeah, and I think those came along kind of at an inopportune time. I would probably hold off a few months before acting on that, because they've made some changes to the 590s just all across the board. At the very least, they've come out with a new safety, a new OEM thumb safety that looks and feels a lot better than the old one. Instead of looking like an old stair-stepped Aztec, Pyramid. It's got more of a checkered scallop look to it. It's a wider pad for your thumb. So if you did go to the range all day and you're practicing drills, thumbing it on and off safe, you're not going to leave there with a raw thumb, but it's still grippy where it needs to be. Just to be what's up.
The only problem with Mossberg I've noticed is they don't have many guns chambered in 3.5 inch.
Well, you got to get into the 835 and the 935 line if you want the 3.5 inch Magnum,
Yeah,
and you're not going to find that in a fighting gun. Most of your combat shotguns are only 3 inch, just out of a safety concern, because all your tactical buckshot and slugs and stuff are usually just Magnum 2 3/4 inch loads. That's kind of the standard across the world. Definitely all your less than lethal, beanbag rounds and stuff. Not that any of us have any legal application of those,
gotcha.
but and there's not really been a fighting shotgun market on the law enforcement military side for a while.
Yeah,
Everybody has
they dumped all
all the
that for the
PDs.
ARs.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. That's just been a growing trend. But it makes so much more sense.
The local PD here in New Jersey that I'm friends with said they have thousands and thousands of shotguns just sitting locked up because they can't get rid of them because they're 14 inches and they can't legally sell them anywhere because they're NFA item.
Yep, that was their mistake years ago. Of course, I've heard the same thing from some PDs that have like off the wall subguns and stuff that they can't get anybody to buy either, because they've either got to sell them to another PD or they've got to sell them to another NFA dealer that you know they don't bring any money. All those post 86 guns don't bring any money
I mean,
because nobody can buy
I would
them.
love to buy one of the shotguns from the PD, but hey, it's an FA item. I'm not willing to do that.
Well, the shotgun you'd be good. My mind switched over to the machine guns and stuff. The post 86 machine guns aren't worth anything on the dealer side.
Gotcha.
Which is a shame. If they would repeal the Hughes Amendment and open up the registry again, at least, I'm 100% for repealing everything, no gun laws. But we could chip it back the other direction, a ruling or a law at a time. At least just open up the registry for new machine guns.
Is that Batman?
You can see a bunch of that is a Batman. Is that 3D printed? Or is that
It's like a 10-inch tall Lego Batman. I made it for my grandson.
Does it clip onto the deck?
Does it clip onto what?
Will it attach to actual Lego foundation?
No. Like the bottom of his feet are just huge. If you made the scale size, yeah, it would probably snap in. But
that's pretty sweet.
yeah, now he wants a full like cowl made. I just finished that today.
We don't have to worry about getting that 5 miles, Fiend Dog. I'm there already for the
I'll be
day.
right back.
You'll be right back.
I see shotguns as being like maybe a entry level. Like if somebody's not into guns or being protection at all, like recommending a shotgun is maybe the first way to go because there's a lot less. I feel like there's a lot less to learn.
Yeah. So you'll find there's a lot of people that come in wanting to buy one, and they know they don't know anything, or they know very little, or worse, they make supposition because maybe they shot something 30 years ago when they were a kid, or they, like I say, they've watched a bunch of movies and they think they know. And you get a lot of FUD lore. I hear a lot of people, admittedly from both sides of the counter, that recommend like bird loads for in the house. The idea that it won't go through the wall, and it's, you try and chime in and say something about it, and usually they refute. Well, do you want shot with it? And it's like, well, no, I don't want shot with anything. But I'm also sane and sober. I'm not. I can't count on the physical build or mental state of the person that intends to do me harm. And just anatomically, people are built more like deer than they are birds. And while ammo can overpenetrate, I think overpenetration has been oversold to sell expensive ammunition.
Bipod grips.
If it feels
like
good and works for you, then go for it. It seems convenient.
Is that what you guys were just talking about? The bipod grips?
We were talking about shotguns being a beginner gun.
Oh, okay.
At least a beginner home defense long gun.
I think if you were only ever going to convince somebody to buy one gun, the shotgun would be the way to go. Because the different shells that you can buy, it can serve different roles. You're not exactly going to take out ducks at 50 yards with your tactical shotgun, most likely. But you will be able to take game with a tactical shotgun if you can get close enough. And being able to get food and protect yourself all at the same time with I would say a lower standard of accuracy required to get the job done.
Yeah, I think inside an urban setting, definitely inside the four walls of your house, it's satisfactory.
And instead of shooting one projectile at somebody, why not 7 to 9 30 caliber balls?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the number 4 buckshot out of the shotgun for self-defense.
Same. I've seen some argument both ways on which buckshot is the best buckshot. But
Well, that shot is all lead, right?
yeah,
So
sometimes you can find some nickel or copper plated,
yeah,
but it's still a lead core.
That has a lot less chance of going through walls or multiple walls.
Well, the bigger the projectile, the more mass it carries. That's why I like number 4. I think it's the happy medium of buckshots. You still get, you usually get like 24 pellets. So you're getting more frontal damage.
I don't like slugs. You only get one pill. The the barrel is not rifled, so it's just a smooth bore, and that's a hell of a kick from a slug.
You can get some. They make managed recoil slugs that are not god awful. I mean, it's not going to be your 223 AR.
Most of the slugs I have are all 1,700, 1,800 feet per second. So there's a massive kick there.
Man, are you running like 3.5 inch magnums?
3-inch. They hurt.
Yeah, you got to check out. You got to check out some of that managed recoil stuff, like the tactical. Well, sometimes they'll call it tactical, so you don't have to feel like you're less than for buying it. I mean, but even if you want something naughty, Federal Premium makes a Defender slug for like dangerous game. I'm trying to remember what they call it, but it's a copper plated true ball slug, and it's for like deep penetration. You know, they're advertising it for like mountain lions and bears and stuff, and that launch here a 300-pound fella. You know, like if Muffin Top's evil doppelganger tried to kick your front door in, that'd fold him like a lawn chair.
Yeah, I got quite a few of those the federal law enforcement true ball low recoil ones that I think they're like, what are they, 1,200 feet or 1,300 feet?
Yeah, somewhere in there. I don't remember off the top of my head. But
Those are 2 3/4.
Yeah, and those ones I'm talking about, they do them in a 2 3/4, and they're still. I think they're only like 1350.
It's not
But
bad.
they're advertised as being, you know, deep penetrating, you know, against dangerous critters. So
I had
I
this
tell you
weird
what,
idea for shotguns, and I haven't seen anybody try it. You know, well, when I was a kid, the hottest thing you could get was that laser pointer that had like 47 tips on it, and you know you could shine like stars or whatever on the wall. Why doesn't somebody make just a regular circle laser for a shotgun that you could tune somehow to match the pattern that the shotgun throws? And you could have, instead of just a dot, a circle showing you where that pattern is going to go.
Viridian or someone had that on the market back 6 or 7 years ago. I can't
Yeah.
remember who, because it was, yeah, where it shot out like 12 or 14 lasers in a circle. And the idea was that it was fixed. I think you could adjust, like they're all co-aligned or whatever. So I think you could tweak it, you know, X and Y axis to center up your pattern. But the idea was that it illuminated, you know, a disc of lasers like you're describing that grew with your pattern, you know, about that 1 inch per yard.
Oh, this is like,
So,
this is already done.
yeah,
Like you said.
it was I can't remember who was selling it, but it's been a thing for a while.
Man, there's literally nothing new under the sun. This is bullshit.
I mean, there's something all the time, but I think, like I said, the issue with the one, and I can't remember who made it. I want to say Viridian because I know they were green. I don't think it was a Crimson Trace product, but they were several $100s, and your average person doesn't want to spend several $100s on a laser for their scatter gun. But it was a neat proof of concept, anyways.
I tell you what, if you want some real spicy double up buck 2 3/4, or even the 2 3/4 slugs, buy yourself a case of that Black Aces Tactical. Man, that stuff is super spicy and accurate.
Yeah, isn't that rebranded Turkish ammo?
I believe so, but I don't care.
I mean, it's fine. I haven't handled any of it, but I know we had some stuff labeled like Stars and Stripes, but I think it actually came out of Turkey or somewhere Eastern European. I can't remember.
The 2 3/4 inch slugs that I had from them, you can actually hear them almost whistling going down the range when you fire it. How fast they were going and spinning. You can hear it. And they
So
were
you like
accurate.
standing down range and hiding? Or?
You could hear it. It was
Yeah.
accurate, but it hurt your shoulder at the same time firing it.
Huh.
But Black Ace's tactical ammo is actually really good ammo. Just the FYI, at least the ones that I bought, the cases I bought.
Same, Bob. I wish that the Mantis was not as expensive as it is. I predict all that to settle down in price some this year too. That's kind of a saturated market space now.
Yeah, there's a ton of different dry fire stuff now. I've noticed.
I mean, the Mantis came along at a good time when everyone wanted to practice but was scared to use up what ammo they had. And they did a really good job of going to every gun show and every gun store and selling the dealers on them. But then they went and saturated the market. Like last year, the last few units we had were like pulling teeth to make them go away.
Yeah, I found something on Remington870.com. It shows a picture of I guess what you're describing, one center laser and then 9 dots around it, and then like a
Okay.
spatter field, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried to screen share. I don't know how to make it work.
I'm not sure either on a phone, let alone on a phone while I'm walking around the neighborhood. Get back to home base and I'll see if I can. I'm not far. You
I got a
drop a
bunch of
picture of Muffin Top's Discord. Everybody that's watching us right now is there.
those Remington Slugger rounds yesterday. They were on sale for pre-COVID prices.
What's pre-COVID muffins in Jersey?
$6 a box.
For just a regular 5 count box?
Yeah, for a 5 count box. And at least I thought that was a decent deal.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's probably about right.
But you had to buy 10 of them in order to get the deal.
Yep, that's because everybody's sitting on COVID priced ammo. You know, where the dealers gave more for it too. Everybody's trying to get out from under that so they can turn around and replace it with this year's ammo that's probably only 50 cents to $1 a box cheaper for them. Isn't that crazy how that works?
Yes, it is.
Like they're going to sell you the ammo they already have, basically at cost, to turn around and buy new to replace it at the same or maybe 50 cents a box less. But that's how liquidity works. They got to get out from under stale merchandise, try and turn it into some liquidity, get it into some stuff they need.
I did
The
buy
gun
some.
market is very much a commodities market. It ebbs and flows. And what sucks is that you can place orders instantaneously, but that time from order place to product delivery can totally mispace the actual demand.
I did buy some expensive double up buck though too. I bought 2 boxes of 3-inch Winchester. I forget what it was, but it was 3-inch Magnum copper pellet double up buck, and it was expensive. It was $20 for 5.
$20 for 5. That is
Yeah,
steep.
that's strictly for hunting.
Is it like lead free?
Yes, it's all copper.
Gotcha. That's why.
Yes, some states make it so you can't hunt with lead, right?
Yeah, some do, yes, but not even here in Jersey. You can still hunt with lead, though. Fortunately,
All your waterfowl ammo, well, migratory bird ammo has to be lead free. That's been law for some time.
it's got to be tungsten or steel shot.
Yeah, or bismuth, something non toxic is the goal. And it's not even the animal that you wound; it's the like the guys that shoot over waterways, and then the shot rains down and collects on the bottom of the pond or the river or lake or whatever. And then the fish or the bottom feeding ducks eat it and get the lead in there.
That's
It gets
that's
lead
that's
into the
that's
food supply.
that's why I always laugh at these YouTube videos of people shooting their guns into freshwater lakes and streams on their land. What are you doing, dude? You're poisoning your water.
Pat's in the chat says, "Hey, what if he kicked himself again?"
No, I'm still here.
Okay, I was gonna say your icon was still there. I just wondered if there was some lag.
I don't know. I want Jerry Mitchell to be my daddy. That's why I say hey all the time. There's a meme a while back that says you break into some old man's house in the middle of the night, then you hear a beep and a hey yo.
Mhm. So
Like
anyway,
a clown.
what's your guys' opinions of the foregrips that are actually bipods on for your ARs? Gimmick or
If you use it and it works for you, then that's fine. It seems cool.
The Israelis really like them.
Don't they have one that I've seen the one that's like super cheap that just like springs out the bottom? Don't they have one that like the whole grip splits into a bipod?
I've seen that.
If that
There's
were the
several
case,
different products on the market.
if that were the case and it wasn't like extremely like stupidly long, I could see where that would be more useful. But the one where it springs out the bottom, like nobody's running a full size vert grip anymore.
Well, it's long like that to get the bipod out far enough.
Yeah,
And those original grip pods that are what you're picturing aren't cheap. They command like 150 bones for those.
I
And I'm not
I
about that.
only seen Chinese ones. I thought
Yeah, there's some knockoffs of them that the spring is really limp.
maybe maybe I just
And
thought
they
that.
probably, I mean, even the legit ones look cheap, but like you get them in hand, you can tell that like once that bipod portion is deployed, like it will sustain some weight. I mean, they were issuing them with saws for a while in GWatt, because I know a guy that was a saw gunner on deployment in '09 to 10, and he had one, and I mean they worked fine on there.
I personally, I
Uh,
have the Codweld regular bipods.
Twenty
I know
bucks.
there's better brands, but
like anything, they're a concession. You know, they're not the best bipod by far, and they're probably not the best grip either. But it saves real estate and weight combining the two, I suppose. So I can guarantee if you had like a Magpul grip or whoever's vertical grip and a bipod, and you had to hump 2 or 3 miles to get where you're going, you'd be like, screw this. You'd be yanking one or the other off there.
gotcha.
I think, and it's not as bad now because YouTube has been a thing, like GunTube has been a thing for 15 years now or longer. But I know when I was coming of age and came into both the age and monetary means to get into my first guns, especially my first AR, it seemed like everybody had to go through that stage of like making the tactical Christmas tree, and have everything but the curb feelers on their gun. You pay that life experience tax of buying all that shit and putting it on there, and then figuring out Kiss is really a thing. The bear, like, it's neat to hold an old AR, like somebody brings in an old Colt SP1, just a 20-inch sporter before they put the goofy heavy barrel on there and all that, and you're like, man, this is a badass little light handy rifle. Like, I could run around like in my ninja pants in Vietnam with this. Like, this is like, you could go over hill and dale and muck and mire with this. This is handy, especially for the time. Like, before all the lights and lasers and everything weren't a force multiplier because you didn't have an enemy that had that too, let alone didn't have the ability to have it, and you could. But then you get all the SOP mod program, like the SOP mod, all the options, the 3 or 4 options for optical accessory, and then the grip pod, like we're talking about, and the LAM unit, and vert grip, and the RIS 2 handguard. That's what I'm talking about. Not SOP mod program, sorry, the RIS 2 program with the RIS rail and all the accoutrement that went with that. And everyone sees the diagram of the rifle in there with all the optional accessories. Nobody was running around with all of that shit at one time, but people saw that picture and assumed I need all of that shit on my rifle. And so 2010, 2011 timeframe where the general public had the access to all of that stuff.
What was it called? RIS something?
RIS 2 was the program, rail integration system. When Knights was supplying the Army with all the drop-in rails for the M4s. And I guess to some degree M16s, but mostly I think that concern was on the M4s. That had been available to SOP mod or to SOCOM for a while, but then I think Big Army started issuing that stuff to the deployed units, which, as I understand it, you as a unit, and I haven't served, I just have lots of friends that have, but as I understand the stories, you would spin up and do your pre-deployment training stateside with whatever unit you're in, and you would take your unit weapons, to that training or whatever, but then you would deploy, and basically you would sign over, like as one unit was leaving and you were replacing them, like basically they would just sign over the already deployed weapons to you. And then the Army was constantly replacing the issued guns that were already in theater, because those were the guns getting the mileage on them and stuff. Meanwhile, back home, your National Guard unit is still running like original M16A1s that maybe had been converted over to A2s. I think here locally, our local National Guard unit, they just finally a few years ago replaced their retrofitted multiple time, like original M16A1 loaders that had been struck out as A2, like had been restruck as A2s, to have the not full auto trigger pack, instead had the select fire. They finally replaced those with M4 carbines just a couple, 3 years ago.
Are you back at the house?
Yes, I'm back at the house.
You see any options on there to like show screen or anything like that?
Settings, layout. Did that change anything? That didn't change anything. I don't know why I did that.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
You changing that different colors?
Yeah, I was selecting different banner options, but that wasn't what I was trying to do. Let's see. Overlay?
Nothing about share screen or anything like that?
I'm going to share an unpopular opinion probably between the two of you right now.
Don't worry about it.
I believe the quad rail on a AR is better than the free flow M-Lock rails.
Womp womp womp.
I know you guys probably don't like that, but that's how I
Uh,
feel.
every mission has a set, you know, like people want suggestions on what to do with a rifle. Like it's just like, what optics should I get from a rifle? It's the same thing. Like, what rail do you need? Do you need a 13-inch rail? Do you need an 18-inch rail? Like, what's the rifle for? So I'm sure there's situations where the quad rail is better than just a regular old M-lock rail.
I feel the attachments the for the quad rail are more reliable than M lock. I think M lock is not as reliable.
Yeah, I don't know how to screen share. It says I'm sharing, but it's like gray. Yeah, whatever. Don't worry about it. Something we'll figure out at a later date.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Honda or somebody to teach us in a back chat one day. Oh no, I kicked him
That was
off the.
one of the first things I did. My first AR, it came with just the regular old plastic hand guards. A2 front sight post, the carry handle, and that's how it came. Colt Sporter. And then I thought I'd be all tactical, and I threw one of those rails that screws through your carry handle, and put an optic like 6 inches above the top. And mine was really cool because it had rail out front of the carry handle too for your other accessories. And then I changed all that out and got something else. And then I put a quad rail on it. And I turned a really nice light rifle, like you were just saying, into a freaking monstrosity.
Hmm.
I didn't buy an
So
expensive
I
quad rail either. I bought a cheap one, so that thing would just chew your hands up.
I think an M4 carbine style rifle with the quad rail looks really good. Like that is quintessential Americana. But mechanically, the free floated handguard, like a cheap free floated handguard assembled properly, is a more accurate gun than an M4 carbine. Like you take a prime GWatt produced Colt versus like that's mechanically new. We'll say broke in, but not wore out. It won't compete with like a PSA, like one of their premiums or whatever, the ones that they do that have the FN marked barrels, but it's their upper and handguard and stuff. Just mechanically, that PSA upper is going to be more accurate than the Colt because of that deflection. Like you can stick a laser bore sighter in the end of your barrel and just set the upper, like rest the upper against different stuff or hold it different ways or like wrap up in a sling and you can see how much the barrel flexes.
All right.
Oh, we lost Pat. He must
He
have got
must have
off.
put himself out.
Yeah, he kicked himself trying to change settings or something.
I don't. I trust the pick rail accessories better than M lock accessories. That's all, and they're easier to install.
Generally, yeah. Different different people, different companies manufacture those handguards to attach different ways. Let's get Pat back in here. Figure out how to. Just trying to split screen. I can't do it. Get you back in here, Pat.
There he is.
Audio's super low. That's weird.
I hear you fine.
You sound pretty loud to me.
I'm using the wrong browser. Hold on. Damn it.
And now you're roboting. I'm still debating going back and forth between either getting an AR-10 or a Scar Heavy or one of those PTRs in 308. Get the Jackal.
Welcome back.
Hey, awesome. That's much better.
You do
guys
sound
keep
a little
switching
crisper.
back. You guys keep switching back and forth between StreamYard and Rumble, and I gotta switch browsers when we do that.
Justin B says, I like a full rail. He likes it all. Fiend Dog 27 says, get the Jackal. They're good looking. Man, they're heavy as shit, though. A guy about mine a muffin top sage brought a Jackal in to consign because he was needing to rebuild an engine or something. And of course, he had one of those Monstrum LPVOs and then like a Amazon tactical flashlight on it. But it was heavy as shit. They need to do something to like cut the weight on that. He had it on a
You gonna buy
Diamondback
a
billet lower. So you'll get strong if you carry that thing around, Denny. You'll get strong with that Jackal.
What's your opinion on the PTRs?
You talking like the G3 Set-Me clone rifles?
Yeah, the 308 battle rifles, man, they're awesome. I think, but
I mean, PTR seems to be important in assembling like a quality product. They've been in the game a while.
they do beat up your shoulder a bit for a 308 though.
Yeah, I mean that's just part of that roller delay. They're infinitely less complex gun to field strip and maintain than the FALs. So as far as guns of their vintage and peer, I would probably rather have one. I've got the same issue that Ian McCullum does of being wrong-handed, so the charging them is kind of tricky sometimes.
The only problem is it's hard to find the magazines for them. I hear.
Huh? There was a point in time about a decade ago where those mags were cheap. Man, I know a friend of mine bought like a shoebox full of them for $4 a piece.
God damn.
I know. And then he didn't keep the rifle very long. He turned around and washed his hands of it. Our whole friend group was upset that he didn't give anybody a heads up, like at least give us a chance to make an offer.
Yeah, right. So are those the PSA Sabers and 308? Are they worth it, or should you just go with a regular old AR-10 from a different outfit that's got a better reputation.
Man, I don't know. I haven't met anybody with any time on one to say. The problem with AR-10 variant guns is there's not there's not a single variant. Everybody's AR-10-esque thing is in some way proprietary. There's not a mil spec, if you will, for those rifles. You got two different common pattern of upper and lower. You got the DPMS pattern and the Knights pattern uppers. So even when you're trying to part a gun together, you've got to pay attention just alone on that. You know, they're second only to trying to build a 9mm AR because there's so many different patterns just in the upper and lower, let alone uh, intricacies in how the bolt and buffer assembly is configured.
Yeah, the only one I know that has that saber was that Muffin Top has one, right?
He's got the Saber 5.56.
Oh, I thought he had the 308.
No, I
Okay.
think that's what he wants next. Or at least that's what he wanted next until everybody beat him up about the one he's got. Now he feels inadequate.
Who cares what everybody else says, man? Get what you want.
We got Twin Arrows in the chat. We're rolling in them big fish now.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Or I should say reeling in the big fish. We're just shooting the breeze, talking about pews, pew-related things, and taking out the trash before the missus complains about it.
I'm getting ready to have some Sunday supper. I have a 4-pound top round roast in the slow cooker for the last 7, 8 hours or so. It's about ready.
It's a Ninja brand slow cooker.
That's funny. Got in a Ninja air fryer right now.
Okay, then that's what I heard.
My brother had tacos. I like tacos. Tacos are good too.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up doing like white people. They're on those low carb wraps, but the kid calls them tacos, but they're really more like a burrito.
I think your PSA Sabers, you got to treat them just like any other PSA. You're going to have a bunch of quality parts, but I don't know if I trust who's putting it together. So you're going to want to be a gearhead and go through and Loctite everything and just make sure everything's put together right.
I've never personally had any problems with any of the PSA uppers. I never had a lower.
Any AR that I didn't buy from a gun shop, I built myself. So I don't have any experience with PSA either. I used to live right next to their retail store. That was badass.
Well, as I have had it explained to me by people more in the know, their product development teams, their R&D teams, like all of those different makes and models that they produce, those teams don't communicate to one another. So they're under the same roof, but they're functionally separate companies almost. So
Gotcha.
that's why you can have a good experience with a PSA AR and then have a total dog shit experience with a PSA AK. I mean, and that's probably the most like juxtaposed because obviously an AK is mechanically 100% different than an AR, but like a KP9 or something, like all of those products get designed and built by like separate teams.
My next supper is going to definitely be a. I'm looking at BCM to build my next upper. What quality lower do you think I should get to go with that? Geisley or something like that, or
My hot take on lowers is I'm not quite a just as good guy, but for the most part, a lower is a lower is a lower. Other than when you start wanting specialty ambi features and that sort of stuff. If you're wanting somebody's whiz bang fully ambi lower, then I guess go where the money in your heart desires. Up until this past week or so, where Arrow's getting lambasted, I would have told you just the Arrow M4E1 lower
what
was like
what what happened with Arrow, man? All of a sudden, Arrow sucks.
evidently been they grew too fast and have been hurting for a while, but they're not shipping product and stuff. So I don't, and that's the quickest way to go down the drain is to sell stuff and then not deliver on it. I would probably at this point caution everyone to not give them money direct off of their website, at least until either they make amends, like get caught up on production and right the ship, because I wouldn't want to give them any more money and then go tits up, hit the auction block here in a month or two. They've been shipping some stuff here and there, but it's been spotty. Just buying it through distribution. We had a direct account with them a couple of years ago when stuff was hard to get, and our sales rep would call like weekly or biweekly and offer what was on, what was available or whatever. You just go down the list, and something to the effect of send me whatever you've got and then hang up the phone was what the boss man said while we were covered up with customers. And so that motherfucker was like, well, I'll show you, and shipped us like 50 AR-10 stripped uppers. And so that's what closed our direct account, because that is not what he meant by ship me what you got.
Yeah, I got you.
And I think we're still sitting on probably 35 of those.
So
We
your
probably need,
personal opinion, what do you think is the best in your personal opinion, or the most whatever complete AR lower?
of the stuff I've handled, I have always been happy with Arrow. Like the one and I know I'm a hypocrite like everybody. I have one, so I'm emotionally invested in it, to say good things about them, I guess. But that M4E1 lower, I've been wholly content with. That new Pro that they announced last year and finally started shipping. Like I was like, cool. If I build another one, that's what I'll want it to be built on. But
So
Geisley makes phenomenal stuff. They're a God fearing patriotic company. I think Bill Geisley, the owner, is my flavor of autism.
and they're out of
Um,
Pennsylvania, which is right next to where I live and where my
yep.
family lives. So that'd be cool.
Knowing a guy that worked for him for a couple of years, he takes care of his people. Like they're like the people that work there are passionate about what they do, and he takes care of of the employees. So I don't think you're ever wasting your money buying a Geisley product.
I think their triggers are their two-stage triggers are phenomenal. That was that the SAEE or whatever, the SEAA or whatever that one trigger is, where it's
The
2.5 pounds,
SSAE,
then 2 pounds, or 2.5 pounds, then 1 pound or whatever. The SAEE. something like that. I think it is.
They've got a bunch.
Like
And
I prefer
I thought I had them committed to memory until you said a bunch of letters, and then now I'm unsure of myself.
the 2-stage trigger over the single stage now. Now that I've gone through a bunch of single stage triggers,
Yeah, I'm a 2-stage guy.
I tend to jerk the first shot, if you know what I mean, anticipating it and then jerking it.
Yeah, I like the 2-stage on a rifle because it gives you enough. That first stage has enough weight to get you, like, lets you tact tactilely ensure that your finger is on the trigger where you want it, how you want it, before you get to the wall and intentionally break that shot. But
Exactly.
then, but it also allows, by splitting that combined weight up, it allows you to still have a light enough trigger that if you want to like flutter it, you can.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My 3-pound single stage triggers are nice, but like I said, I tend to jerk that first pull on that because it surprises me sometimes.
Slideshow Bob got it. SSAE, the semi-auto, super semi-auto enhanced. Yes,
SSAE.
and he followed up with what I was about to suggest. The LaRue is great. I've got the MBT2S, and I love it. Meticulously built 2-stage trigger. When I got mine, they were going for, yeah, about 70, 80, somewhere in there. But I didn't give that for mine because the customer brought in like a shoebox of stuff that he wanted to get out from under. And he had one new in the package. I think I gave $25 for it. And I run it with the heavier of the 2 hammer springs that it includes because I didn't get a word in on Muffin Top's chat about it the last time this came up about frosting a turd, but I don't want a whiz bang trigger in a fighting gun. I value reliable primer ignition over Gucci trigger. I'm with you, Twin Arrow. Uh, I would rather have a cheaper lower and then build it out with quality, higher end parts than sink $300 or $400 into a lower. But I also, the lowers are still the last part, and you're kind of married to it. So I understand. I wouldn't race to the bottom for the cheapest one. Of course, they all look expensive after you rattle can them.
A lower is a lower. I always customize them, so that's why I was asking. I always change out the buffer spring, the buffer itself, the buffer weight, the trigger, and shit like that. That's why I was just asking. I know some lowers are not completely to spec, or if you change the triggers out, maybe your anti-walk pins may be a little long or whatever.
I think I can say stay away from Stag arms. I bought an AR-10
Yeah.
Stag receiver set, and you couldn't even put a magazine in because the way the upper was milled.
How long ago?
4 or 5
What
months.
was there? Oh, okay. That's no bueno then. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Stag is now owned by uh, Aero Precision. Their Run is a sister company. They moved them out of New
I
England and
can't tell
moved them
you it's
over
been a
to.
recently manufactured.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I
what's
can't
the
say it's been recently manufactured.
where's the city and state of manufacture on the marked on it?
Hmm.
Or just look at some point and mention it again. If it's one of the Wyoming produced ones, then that's a shame. Stag's had a rough go of it the past decade. They were one of the higher end, good to go manufacturers, and then they got busted during a ATF audit. I guess the records person in the manufacturing department weren't keeping in communication, and they had like more than one completed machine gun lower that wasn't serialized and wasn't papered. And I think maybe had done some other questionable stuff. And they were allowed to stay in business. Like, they paid a fine. They were allowed to stay in business. And the CEO or president, whatever, maybe the same thing, um, took a basically an out of court plea agreement to not run a gun company ever again in exchange for not being prosecuted. And then it wasn't long after that that they started having money troubles, I think. I don't remember if they sold once before that and then just continued operating at the same location and then sold again, or if they went out of business and opened back up. Something, I don't know. They've shuffled hands a couple times in the last decade and finally landed under Arrow's procurement. And Arrow moved them out to like an all new facility in I think Wyoming, and had been running them out of
Uh,
there.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yeah, okay, that's a shame then.
It's beautiful. It's got a little flared magwell. Everything fits beautifully. It's a beautiful upper and lower. But that upper, like I said, it was machined in such a way I had to take a Dremel in order to be able to get a magazine in there.
Hmm.
Up where it heads into the feed ramps.
So did you use like marking dye, like marking fluid on a magazine or something to kind of figure out where the tight spot was, or?
It was so bad. I was trying to jam the magazines in there that I could see the scratches on the magazine.
Hmm. So you just kind of lightly milked it until you got that raceway
I
clear.
think I used I was using a file, not a Dremel. I was being
I was gonna say,
sarcastic.
gotcha. I was gonna say like a flat bastard file or
Yeah,
something would be the thing. Just
where the
a few swipes.
magazine goes into the upper, right where the feed ramps are. That's where I had to clearance it out.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's fine. Just like anything else, if you're handy, you can make shit work. But before that, I got my built 308 that I built. I used the Arrow upper and lower. The what's it called? The M5, something like that.
Yeah, the Arrow M5.
And that's beautiful too. I had no problems putting that one together.
That's a pretty good deal. Slideshow Bob. That's probably all right. I don't know, just the completed PSA PA10s that I've handled all felt chunky.
Well, it's
They are
AR-10. What do you
heavy.
expect? Trying to see
Well, I
what
mean, I know
lowers I
there's.
have. I have a Fostech
I,
Light 2 made out of magnesium.
mm-hmm. If you ever need to start a fire,
Yep.
have you ever handled one of the Plum Crazy polymer lowers from back in the day?
I have a I have not handled the one you're talking about, but I have I think it's I want to say Kingman, but that ain't right. What is this called? It is a KSP, Tucson, Arizona. I know it's not Kingman. Kaiser. That's what it is. It's a polymer upper and lower with aluminum reinforcements in the right places. They were making these special rifles that were, polymer and stainless steel for, out on the high seas. And that's that was my intention, was to make super light when I first started. They're super light, and there's like no corrosion or anything to them, and it was ungodly expensive.
Yeah, that's something I don't think a lot of people necessarily think about. That all the space age aluminum being used on guns these days, you get through that anodizing, they're super susceptible to saltwater corrosion. If you've seen any of the pictures of the early M16s in Vietnam, the ones that got carried maybe by multiple dudes, through rotation or whatever, guys would carry them at the magwell and like just rub the finish off, and then those things would just get ate out right at the magwell. So I couldn't even, I had never considered the naval use of an AR until you said that, but then I can picture it just getting otherwise ate away. I mean, that was probably mostly sales pitch for that company,
But there's
but
certain
I
things that are
suppose
going to be
that's
steel. Certain things are going to be steel anyways, like the bolt and everything. You'd have to.
sure. Yeah, all the
One of the
pressure bearing
use.
parts.
Yeah, one of the use cases of the they were saying about being able to keep it on your boat or something like that. I think you'd have to grease the shit out of your bolt and
Oh yeah,
everything if that was going to be if that's what was going to be your use case. If it was going to live, even if you live on the coast, that salt air would just destroy some stuff.
yeah. Don't the people who live on the coast have to replace their doorknobs and shit every 3 or 4 years?
I've not heard that, but that's funny.
I thought that was a thing. I've only been to Florida once, and I was like 7, but I thought that was a thing that people that live on the East Coast have to replace their door hardware and stuff every few
I know
years.
your vehicles definitely suffer. If you're a
Hmm.
mechanic and you got to work on somebody that's got a car from the shore, they're bad, real bad.
Well, even the Rust Belt, don't all you people up there driving around where you do get real snow? Down here, when we get the occasional precipitation that accumulates enough to like halt work and school for a couple days, as soon as better weather comes along, it's a race to the car wash to try and like hose off the undercarriage and everything.
Yeah, there was a huge difference. I lived in South Carolina for a while. I worked on BMWs in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and I worked on BMWs down there in South Carolina. And, the torch was your friend when I was working up in Northern Virginia. But down south, um, I don't think I found one set of tie rods. Those were the worst because that's one thing that you do a lot is doing alignments. And the tie rods on
Hmm.
everything in Northern Virginia required heat and a special wrench, and you had to really crank on those things. Sometimes you swore it was going to snap. But down south, just a wrench. Loosen up the locking nut and just turn them with a wrench. Things were a lot different down there.
Thanks everybody for liking the video. That's cool. Yeah,
See, I
car
got
maintenance. That's a fun topic. Oh, slideshow Bob, I've been back at the house for 15, 20 minutes. Sorry. But I did get my steps in. I'm just shy of 6 miles for the day. So
Man, you guys make me feel like a slacker.
well, before I went live, I was on Muffin Tops for a minute, and I didn't realize that he was live until I was back to the house the first time. The kiddo and I went for a walk around town, down to the park and back. So, but when we stepped off, leaving the house the first time, I was about 1,200 steps for the day. So,
I've barely done anything today. I got a
yeah,
3D
that's how
printer up,
Sundays usually.
got a 3D printer upgrade. I installed most of it yesterday, finished it today. Worked on my laser and stuff, 3D printed some stuff. But I did do 60 eggs, and they're in my freeze dryer pans pre-freezing. So hopefully in the next 2 days I'll have some freeze dried eggs.
So when you say pre-freezing, like I guess walk me through the whole process. Is there something more than just cracking the eggs and
Well, you crack the
scramble
eggs
them?
and scramble them, and you can put them in the freeze dryer like it is, but it just takes so much longer. And I'm running the freezer anyway, and they say it works better if you do it this way. You put the pans in the regular chest freezer, and then you put the eggs in the
Uh,
pans. You go ahead and freeze it in the freezer, and then put it in the freeze dryer. It's
okay.
better. Not as long. And then you bring them out, and they look like concrete basically, and you got to break them up and like put them in a food processor and turn them into powder. And then it's about a 50-50 water to egg ratio, and it turns back into slimy to be cooked.
Cool. Have you experimented with like a small batch of like pre-scrambling the eggs so they're already cooked and then freeze drying that
Um,
and turning it into powder?
somebody somebody's already done the work on that, and they're turning out gritty, and it's what's the word I'm
Okay.
looking for? It's not pleasant.
So better to freeze dry them raw and just
Yep, and then cook them when
cook
they
them
come
once.
out.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. You gonna package all that up or are you gonna set some aside for your immediate consumption, kind of taste the fruits of your labor?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try it out before I put it all away. But I've got the Mylar bags and the sealers. I've got a pretty good system down. I use a vacuum pump, and I get as much air out as I possibly can. Well, first I seal it up until there's just a little teeny hole in the top. I put a hose down in there, and then I vacuum all the air out, and then seal it up real quick. So it's almost like vacuum sealed in Mylar with oxygen absorbers. And hopefully if I do it all right, it'll last, 20, 25 years.
So you buying big packages of the oxygen absorbers like off Amazon or food supply store or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Amazon is the way to go on that.
I'm back. Sorry, I was just shredding some beef.
That's what she said.
If you're shredding it, I feel bad for her.
It was in the crock pot for about 8 hours, so it's ready to go. Supper's ready.
Nice.
I'm trying to make supper for Mama when she gets home.
Might be.
I know we're supposed to stay away from plastics, but those microwave meals sure are handy. Our
Yes, they
dinner's
are.
probably going to be over in the like deli section at Walmart. You can get the let's see, it's Hormel Foods, but they've got a couple of the Mexican flavors that they, I guess, license the Herdez brand. So we get like the carnitas or the chicken. What is it? The chicken and mild chipotle sauce or whatever. I'll probably make that up for dinner. You just nuke it for 3 or 4 minutes and then kind of shred it up in the sauce. Throw that on some low carb wraps.
That's good.
Fiesta cheese, whatever everybody wants. Dinner's ready.
When back in the day, those meals were they were in aluminum pans that we put into the oven,
Mm-hmm.
and they were healthier for you, I believe, back then.
Yeah, probably better than microplastics. But
I'm trying to get rid
aluminum
of the
is toxic
plastics out of
too.
my kitchen. My wife went the other way. She bought a plastic cups and plastic bowls. I told her, get that shit out of here. So now she's buying me glasses. She put the
Pyrex.
regular plates back in. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We have so many plastic.
Yeah, we're about to get away from the Teflon pans. We're going to nothing but cast iron and stoneware here in this household, and or the stainless steel pans. Pat cut out there. Is he all right or?
As far as I know, he was working
All
on
right.
dinner, so maybe he might be bobbing for apples.
So, what's you guys' favorite 22 long rifle?
Oh, we lost Pat. Maybe he was having connection issues. I I mean, it's a boring answer, but Ruger 1022.
I hear you there. I have a believe it or not, one of my more fun and pretty accurate ones, very accurate actually, is my Rossi RS-22. It's a cheap gun, but it functions fine and is very accurate.
Yeah.
I lucked out with it, I was told.
Yeah, it's the same rifle that Mossberg imports and sells as
The Plinkster, right?
the 22 Plinkster. I'm trying to think of the model number. It's on the tip of my tongue and then oh. But yeah, same gun. But yeah,
See,
they
my only problem with the gun was I had a bunch of I couldn't find the magazines for it, so the only ones I found at first when I first bought it was Pro Mags, and I bought
mm,
like 5 of them, and they were garbage. They kept feeding the bullets, the 22s vertically up into it and all that. They
yeah.
kept crunching them in half and jamming. Once I got rid of those mags, I threw them away and got real magazines for it. It's been flawless.
That's the 702 Plinkster. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yes, there it is. 702 Planks 3. Yep.
They came out with that 715T, which was the same barreled action, just in a shitty plastic AR looking stock that was held together with like self tapping screws. So 2 or 3 times of taking it apart to like actually clean the action out, and then the gun stopped staying put together. But you ought to be
Another
able to
question.
check now if you need some good ones. Rossi's got more mags available now, and they're about 20 a lick.
Another question for you. I've been reading and hearing from a lot of people that the Smith and Wesson, the new Smith and Wesson lever guns are way better than the Ruger Marlins now. Is there any truth to that? They're better
I don't know if
quality.
I'd. I mean, I don't know if I'd say way better than, but they're on par with probably. They're pretty nice. They're heavier than they have to be. They're a good fusion between a Henry and a Marlin. You know, mechanically they're more like a Marlin in the receiver. They've got the heavier barrel and the removable tube like a Henry.
Gotcha. Slideshow Bob said he made breakfast burritos for the week. That's a good little prep.
Yep. An army marches on its stomach.
I do stuff like that all the time where I make little things like that and I vacuum seal them and individually freeze them for individual meals. Somebody eating potato chips or something?
No, I'm getting stuff out of bags, making dinner. Hold on.
Okay. I was going to ask what kind of chips they were if you were eating potato chips. That's all.
Bet you can't eat just one.
Now, was that Lay's or was that Pringles?
That's Lay's. Pringles is once you pop, you just can't stop.
That's right. That's right.
You notice they don't use that kind of marketing anymore. They don't want to fall under the obesity scrutiny anymore.
No, they don't. Now that I'm in my 40s, I don't even eat that many potato chips like I used to back in the day.
Mm-mm. No,
Maybe.
I fall victim to a good tortilla chip from time to time. But
Oh yeah, yeah. Come summertime when I got the vegetables growing and making homemade salsa and all that. Yeah, the corn chips they're gonna come around.
yeah, I don't not much on the Doritos and Fritos and that sort of stuff anymore.
Don't get me wrong, I do love the Cool Ranch Dorito.
See, I was always a nacho cheese over the Cool Ranch.
Nacho cheese are good too, but I've noticed I like the no name brand nacho cheese ones better half the time.
I've tried the Great Value ones before. They just didn't have enough cheese, enough of the powder. Without it, they're pretty pitiful tortilla chips. So
What else is going on in the chat here? Not much, huh?
mm-mm. It's just us and Slideshow Bob.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 2 hours, so we'll probably shut her down here shortly and let everybody get their dinner and stuff out of the way. I gotta charge my phone back up for either
Yeah.
Muffin Top's potential chat or at the very least the Honda's Gay Frogs chat tonight.
Yeah, I'm charging my phone up right now as we speak. Maybe Muffin Top will do a chat. I don't know.
I bet we bully him into it. It may be
You could
tough
tell,
if his whole household's sick.
you could tell he was sick and he was out of breath today when he was doing his little chat before.
Mm-hmm.
He
Well, he
sounded
was
out of
huffing and
breath.
puffing on the treadmill.
Good for him though, getting himself in shape and losing weight.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that base level cardio too.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that it's his life to live. I don't know that he has to do it all in kit all of the time. I'd be lying if I had a treadmill. I would fight the temptation and not throw all of it on and get it in the privacy of my home too. But I think that he could probably peel all that stuff off once in a while and just go faster.
Yeah. At work, here at work, when I do about 20,000 steps a day, which is a lot.
You're doubling. It is. You're doubling me. I usually do about 10.
And that's
Yeah,
right now. This time of year, I got 20 pounds worth of clothes on to keep me warm, plus a 50-pound tool belt on top of it.
you're probably in fighting shape then.
I've been better shape than most, but I'm not in that great of shape, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Pat, you
I,
got your
rem-
mic muted. You got any parting words?
I remember in my 20s when I was a carpenter, like the body I had back then, if I could just get back to that, be in good shape. Like you said, 50-pound weight strapped to your waist all day long, and you feel like you could run a marathon when you take the thing off.
All right, guys, I gotta go. It's supper time.
Same. Let's all
Thanks for having me on the chat.
feed and yeah, anytime. We'll all go eat and then we'll rally back on TMT or Honda later.
All right, boys, take it easy.
Later, Pat. Later, everybody else. Slideshow Bob, thanks for watching.